Every first world country is struggling with record levels of anxiety and depression. Despite our incredible technological advancements, we're overwhelmed from the outside and feel empty on the inside. In the late 1800s, philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche warned about a coming meaning crisis as society moved away from traditional religious beliefs. He predicted that material success and status gains are where people would derive their meaning from, as they lose their connection with God. Today, you and I are living in this meaning crisis. We are all struggling to build meaningful relationships, and the idea of nihilism, the belief that nothing really matters, has driven the spirit of the previous generations. It used to be simple. Go to university, get a nice job and have a small social group, and likely you'll live a meaningful life. But for my generation and younger, it's not like this anymore. Will we really need programmers, coders, artists or doctors in 10 years? If AI can do the same work faster and more reliably. At the same time, we're being so flooded with content. Why does anything I do really matter if there's already so much stuff happening without me? It feels like you don't really make a difference. We aren't even agreeing on what is objective reality anymore. And this uncertainty has created a new market, the meaning economy. Meaning is becoming a scarce resource. In the face of nihilism, people's lifestyles and mental models are now for sale. Influencers fill the existential void of the people. You consume content because it distracts you from your overall aimlessness. How can we live with purpose without being so overwhelmed from the infinity of it all? This video is a guide on how to survive our new meaning economy. I remember very well as a kid that I loved going to flea markets with my parents because I was always looking for old Game Boy games. And then finding these little cartridges with their images on top was super exciting to me. I particularly remember well this DuckTales Game Boy game. This feeling of getting home, inserting the cartridge into the Game Boy and then the sound popping up, and then finally being able to immerse myself in this new world. There's nothing really that compares to this feeling. Today I can download every Game Boy game that exists on my phone in minutes. Yet I've never felt even 1% of that childhood magic. And sure, Game Boy games are made for kids, but this seen it all before feeling happens with most media nowadays. I've watched countless hours on YouTube, but how much do I truly remember? Just in these masses, it all starts to become a meaningless blur. This leads to a sense of apathy. Why create when there's already so much out there? And despite this abundance, the internet is still growing exponentially. And nobody will like what I'm going to say, but I believe that in the future AI is going to become the main content creator. I think we won't be able to distinguish who is AI and who isn't, or what is AI made and what isn't. And we are not going to care as long as it entertains us. And the platforms certainly won't care, because as long as we're being engaged, we're still making more money for them. So we are already being so overexposed with media, but it's going to get very, very crazy soon. And it already will take you an entire lifetime to watch all the content that has been uploaded in the last 3 days. And what's your contribution to life? Because it seems like that in the vastness of the cosmos, nothing matters. There are just too many humans, too much space. There's already so much happening. So in comparison to it all, you feel like nothing. But something feels off about this nihilistic thinking. From a higher perspective, meaning doesn't exist outside of us, so it's clearly a survival construct. Everything that matters to you only happens in your brain. Therefore, you could argue it's not real. But why do you want to survive? We say it's just biology and take it for granted, but think about how weird it is that the quality of aliveness even exists at all, as if there's a force that wants you to be. If there was literally no meaning to anything, then my words right now shouldn't be anything. Yet here you are, listening and understanding what I'm saying. So even if the meaning of these words are constructs, something real is happening. We're creating something significant, you and I, in our shared context. Up and down, good or bad, we understand these through their opposites. So as long as dualities exist, meaning has to exist. Meaning comes from the relationship between things. So your life's meaningfulness depends on the quality of the relationships you have. And when I say relationships, I don't merely mean between people. It's really between yourself and what you do. Yeah, you might be cosmically insignificant, but you are a crucial component from your own vantage point. And your direct experience proves this. Just imagine, for example, if you get someone pregnant by accident. That's a mistake that can happen in one night. Suddenly, all this talk of in the wide range of the cosmos, nothing really matters, starts to sound rather silly. Yes, this YouTube video isn't particularly meaningful in the wider range of all of the YouTube landscape, but right now, I guess you like what you see, so you're watching it and it has some effect on you. So in this context, we are drawing a relationship, and the other relationships that it isn't drawing don't really matter. When I decided to quit weed for a month, it became a year. And now I have a YouTube channel and an online community. I live with more purpose than I've ever lived before. And it all started with a small choice. And I can also see the interconnected web of positive effects I'm having on other people now. All of this effect size I could have never predicted if I didn't take the next step. Seeing these interconnected relationships is making meaning. It's linking your actions to the closer effects that you have on the cosmos. But instead of zooming out to infinity, you stay grounded within your own context. Small decisions compound in unpredictable ways. And in the same sense, sometimes it can be very helpful to zoom out. Instead of assuming that your life is over because something very horrible happened, you can give it a bit more distance in seeing the wider context of the cosmos at large. No emotion lasts forever. When in doubt, zoom out. When overwhelmed, zoom in. And to figure out what your next step is, you really need to be with yourself and stop listening to all of the information dump that is attacking you every day. You need to notice where your attention goes and where do you want it to go. Can you catch yourself when you automatically reach for your phone? Because these are the moments where you create some space in between thought and action, and this then trains your awareness, so that you're not on autopilot. Friedrich Nietzsche's nihilism wasn't only a deconstruction of religious guidance, but a reconstruction of meaning from the ground up. His idea of the Übermensch, superhuman, is the idea of mankind creating their own meaning. But I say it's not only that you create your own meaning, but meaning always is and has been self-created. It's something that exists, but comes from the bottom up, instead of top down. It's not really that relevant that your entire life is an hallucination if it's still a life that you have to live. All the wants and needs that the universe has gets manifested through you. And to see this as true really depends on how able you are to see the relationship between all things. What can you do now, here? There's always just one step to take. But if you numb your mind with a lifetime of YouTube videos without letting your own internal voice shine, well then you won't be able to self-generate any meaning, because you won't see the relationship between things. Because for this you need to tell your own mind in which direction to go. So a lack of meaning is just a lack of direction. Our existential issue isn't only an abundance of content, but it's just an abundance of life. The sense that we're so tiny in this infinity. But when I finally came home and booted up my DuckTales Game Boy game, I just was happy. And it didn't matter how small I am or how this experience is comparatively nothing. I was just grateful. Grateful for the millions of processes that led to this experience. Our Earth took millions of years to evolve, to our incredible intelligence that has been capable to develop all these incredible technologies, to the few individuals who were inspired to create this dumb little Game Boy game. It inspires me to create. Not only to consume, but to create something of value for other people. To not get lost in the infinity of it all, but see every single connection as meaningful. There's a context in which everything matters. So find where you are, create, and you'll find meaning. In the link in the description, you can enter my private Discord community. If you want to talk to other people deep into self-discovery, this is the place you want to be. And if you're wondering how the hell are you supposed to combine the more spiritual self with the materialistic, ambitious self, then watch this video next.